My name is Guy Ernest. I'm part of the Amazon AI team, and I'm here to talk to you about one of my favorite services, the Amazon Polly. What we're going to cover today is I will do a quick run and reminder regarding what is Amazon Polly, and I will cover the main use cases around education, gaming, content creation, and telephony. At the end, we'll talk a bit about why you should use Amazon Polly for these use cases, and of course, we'll have time for some of your questions. So as a reminder, Amazon Polly is a service that converts text into lifelike speech. We are supporting 24 languages and we have 48 voices, mainly male and female for these languages. And you have the option first to use it to generate in streaming mode the speech, or to download it, store it, and replay it locally from mobile devices or other storage cases. Let's see how do you use that. Again, the usability of the service from the console is very simple. You go to the AWS Management Console, you click on the Polly icon, and then you get this functionality. Let me let you hear that. Technical problems. Why don't you hear that?
Amazon Polly.
Okay, so I'll do it again. Probably my speaker was off. Let's
Ask
see
not what your text-to-speech can do for you. Ask what you can do with Amazon Polly.
And so this is the out-of-the-box functionality. Give it text and it will read it out and it will be lifelike. But if you do want to have some control over that, you can change that and do some modification to fit the use case that you need. For this is one example. If you want to try to spell out some of the words.
Ask not what your text-to-speech can do for YOU. Ask what you can do with Amazon POLLY.
Okay, again, this is maybe not the best example of why do you want to spell out the letters, but it's very straightforward. Just add the SSML tags for that. SSML can also add quite a few other options. I put here a couple of examples, including the SSML code, because you can basically go and copy paste that and do this kind of control for yourself. So the first example is you can control the speech rate. You can read it faster or slower.
Ask not what your text-to-speech can do for you. Ask what you can do with Amazon Polly.
And it's a common use case that some people, when they read an article or a book, maybe they want to finish it faster and they want to read it double the speed and so on. So you can easily control that. Or if you want kids to read it and get a slower pace for them to catch up, you can do it slower. The other example you can see here is the option to change the pitch, which slightly varies the sound.
Ask not what your text-to-speech can do for you. Ask what you can do with Amazon Polly.
You can feel it, older, younger, and some other attributes of the speech. Again, you have quite a lot of control with the SSML, and there is a link in the documentation for the full set of SSML tags that we are supporting. So what did we update lately with Polly? If you already heard about Polly in the past, you might miss the speech marks. You can see here that you can download speech marks. The speech marks are either on the word level, and I will show you an example how it works in a second, or on the sentence. You can highlight the speech, the text as you go through the speech, or use the Visym, which are lip syncing, and I will give an example for that as well. We also added the option to do whispering. It might be creepy, but let's listen to that.
Ask not what your text-to-speech can do for you. Ask what you can do with Amazon Polly.
So again, this is a nice addition that can modify the speech, make it a bit more engaging. And we released about a month ago during the Berlin AWS Summit a new German voice. Let's listen to that.
Fragen Sie nicht, was Ihre Sprachsynthese für Sie tun kann. Fragen Sie, was Sie mit Amazon Polly tun können.
Again, another lifelike speech, now a female voice. As I said in the beginning, we are trying to give you both male and female, also kid voices for most of the languages. Now let's go quickly over the important use cases that we see. And I think that if you listen to the example that we give it, that you can do many things with Poly. These are the main use cases that we see. The important ones, education, it's important for everybody. And learning languages is something which is not really easy to do, and I will give you a couple of examples in a second. But if you are able not just to read the language, but actually hear the language spoken well, it will improve the ability for you to learn the language. And we'll see the Duolingo example in a second. And the other important example is dyslexia. If you want people to follow the text and the speech together, it makes their life easier. So you have multiple channels for input, and it's much easier for people, kids especially, to follow and understand what they have to, what they are reading and what they need to learn. As you see, and this is a common thing around Poly, having human voices is something that people are related to easier. It's more engaging, and if you are able to give your content in a speech mode, it will make more people engaging and listen to that. This is the example of Duolingo that I mentioned a few minutes ago. I'm using that to learn my French. I'm not going to try to see how good I am with French today. But it is really helping me every day. I do 5 minutes, 10 minutes of French exercises. And it's a completely free application. So it's fun to learn. These guys, again, the application is very nice. It's very usable and easy to use. But it was very important for them to try to give you the full scope of a language, not just the text, not just the grammar, not just the words, but also the speech. And if you do want to try to teach so many languages, you have to use something like text-to-speech. And the previous text-to-speech was not as good as what they saw with Duolingo, with Poly, and this is why they start using that. Then these are some quotes from the CTO that Poly really made it much higher quality, more engaging, easy for people to understand and learn. And the first quote is from another nice application that allows you to help kids read. And again, giving the ability to read the text in speech mode really enhance the reading experience and give more people the ability to engage with the content and listen to way longer and read more. Another important part of the users, the customers who are using Poly today, is around gaming. Gaming is a very great industry, and there are two modes here. There are the very expensive, big AAA games, and these guys, what they use Poly for is to test how long it takes, what are the lip syncing of the games. It's important to give this kind of experience for the people to again get into the game, the full immersion of the experience, both the graphics and the gameplay and the speech give you the feeling that you are really inside the game. And of course, if you have this long tail of games, what we call casual games, you can completely use Poly instead of trying to get those expensive talents to read the text for you. Another game-like reading combination is a service called Amazon Rapids. It is a new experience to try to engage young kids in reading. So we know that kids, they like very much to text one another, and they are really into those messaging applications. Can we give them books in the same format? And this is what Amazon Rapids is actually doing. So these guys, they build a big set of stories which are in the form of conversation, like messaging. And so in the beginning, the first version was only reading, and then when they saw Amazon Polly, they immediately saw the benefit and the ability to take and add this layer to the game or to the book. You can also do a conversation, so you can have multiple voices, male and female, or a kid, and the conversation can be really feel like it's a real story read to you by a real actor. Again, Polly gives you quite a good quality here. So the quality is almost human-like. This is the option that I mentioned regarding the lip syncing. I will quickly switch to my demo so we.
The night was about to fall, and we were still lost in the forest. As she heard branches cracking, Mary started to whisper, "If you make any noise, they will find us. We need to walk silently to the lake."
I hope that you could also see the text itself highlighted as we go along. The lips are moving according to the actual speech of the text. Again, this is the Visim that you can download as part of the speech, what I showed you in the console. So it really makes it, again, sometimes even creepy because we don't expect the avatar to be so lifelike. And again, the eyes movement and the lips are moving correctly. But overall, it's a very immersing experience. Okay, so this was the example of gaming. Again, as I mentioned, gaming is a big business, and the addition of this text-to-speech layer is really makes it even more immersing than the regular experience that you experienced. So let's go and talk about the next use case, which is this content creation. Again, content, we have a lot of content, mostly in text. It can be blog posts, it could be news articles, it can be even books. Or in this example that we started is those training videos. So many companies, they need to train their customers, they need to train their employees on multiple types of the part of the business. Being able to translate and also speak out the training videos is something which makes it better for the employees and for the customers to learn and engage with the content. So the example that we have here is from a company called GoAnimate. They were partners, early partners of ours from the launch of the service in reInvent 6 months ago. And they immediately picked up on that. They are generating a lot of videos, both for entertainment and for education. And they saw the benefit of, again, how quickly you can generate those videos and add the layer of speech to them, both on, again, these multiple languages. I mentioned these 24 different languages that we are supporting, and all the way to allow kids to add, or students. Again, even my girl the other day, she had to create a PowerPoint presentation, and she wanted to read the text, the content of the slide. So it was very easy for her to go to the console, write the text that you wanted, and get those audio files and embed them into the PowerPoint presentation. As I mentioned, the content creation use cases, the main ones are around the videos, the animated videos that you can integrate. Again, this is the GoAnimate quote, how quickly they can generate those and how quickly they can iterate whenever there is a change in the text, there is a change in the policies or in the training they want to use. Then they can go and re-record and regenerate those MP3 files and embed them back into the video. And also the option to use personalized videos. Again, you have so much content being generated, and the option to add the layer of text of speech is really helpful here. So here we have the quote from Pierre from Aloud, the ability to take the text, and they have a lot of text to generate and convert it into audio was a big addition to the quality. Let me quickly show you that we are also drinking our own champagnes or dog food, depends on your view. So this is the AWS AI blog, which I think is a very interesting place to read a lot about AI and what you can do and what AI can do to your business. And the examples that I have here is that you can also hear those articles. Let me read you at least the beginning.
Personalizing videos. Be Liked uses Amazon Polly to launch the Dan Brown Origin campaign, the world's first virtual book signing.
Again, you can continue and reading about this interesting use case of using Polly. I think it's fun, but as I mentioned, people think that Polly or text-to-speech is only for blind people, and I try to explain that everybody is blind any now and then. That is, when you are driving, hopefully you are not reading text, and when you are running in the gym and things like that. So it makes a lot of sense that whatever you are using music for, you can also add speech to, and this is a great way to get text, news, books, and things like that to consume while you are blind one way or another. Let's go back to the presentation, and you can see also here on the bottom, once we switch back to the presentation, at least I don't see that. Okay. You can see that we have, again, back in the AWS AI blog, there is a nice blog that one of my colleagues wrote about batch processing. So if you have a big chunk of text, let's think of it like a full book that you want to create Polly output for, here it can allow you to do that using another of our AWS services called AWS Batch. Again, give it the book, and it will cut it into pieces, call Polly, and generate the audio files for you. The last use case that I want to highlight here is telephony. Again, all those IVR systems, you're probably familiar with that you have two options, either to wait hours until some real person will answer you, or to listen to some robotic and annoying voice, and we think we can fix that. Again, Amazon Polly can replace those recording. We're using it internally. Our Amazon customer service is leveraging the service to whenever you click on the call me button, we will use Polly to call you and then understand what you want. And I will give you a quick demo of Lex for this context in a minute. But I also want to highlight that we have an interesting service called Amazon Connect, which can really modernize your IVR systems and integrate, of course, with Lex and Polly. So let me quickly jump to another quick demo to show you how switching too many presentation to demos, it's not so smooth. Sorry again. So I switched to this demo. Hopefully you can see that. This is a demo of a service called Lex, which is a AWS service to create a chatbot. This chatbot can be embedded into mobile devices, web pages, and so on, or also integrated with the telephony service, either through Amazon Connect or your own IVR. So how does it look? Let me quickly show you how do you test that? Again, I created here a chatbot, and I will start talking to it. Hopefully it will allow me to do that, which it doesn't. Okay. I would like to order some flowers.
What type of flowers would you like to order?
So as you can see, the service understood what I said. He understood the intent that I'm looking for, again, ordering flowers, and it started the conversation. And the conversation, as you can see, it's carried by Polly. Chickens.
We do not have chickens. Would you like a different type of flower? Our most popular flowers are roses.
So you can see that I can carry this conversation, ask more questions. I will show you that you can go to the settings here and decide which voice you would like to use for the service. So here I'm using Joanna, but if I want to switch to Sally,
Hello, my name is Sally.
I can do that as well. So, but I hope that it allows you to see that it's very easy to take and use Lex as part of other services. In this example, Lex can be integrated to your chat to your IVR system using a chatbot. So again, a couple of quotes here from our telephony customers. Still going over the same ability to do things, change them. Usually when you have some kind of a change in the policy or a new service coming in or things like that, going and waiting for re-recording using talents and again, human talents might take too long, and we live in a very agile environment. The business is changing all the time, so the flexibility is something that the guys from Aquilab really appreciate it. And the same with the other quote. These are the same examples that it will repeat again and again, that you want to be able to touch people, talk with a human voice. Either is it part of when you are trying to teach young students, if you want to work with your customers, again, calling to your call centers, your employee on videos, or your gamers with your games. So these are common examples, and I'm sure that you can find more and more of these use cases whenever you want to touch your customers in a more human way. Think about using human voice. So before we jump to the questions, I want to highlight this important difference between the quality that you can get from a human talent and what you can get from a voice. So everybody understands that if you take an actor and you ask him to read it, it will be 100% natural, and there's a lot of control in the voice of those actors. But on the other hand, Polly will give you again the lifelike voices that I hope that you managed to get in the demos that I showed. You can change it very often. This is the agile and dynamic and flexibility that you can get. It's very low cost, and you can very quickly deploy a change in your again videos or text or content to the market. So if you do compare the two, and this is the quote from Duolingo guys that we saw before, is that they tried at the beginning to use people, and again, because the quality is higher. But if you want to scale, you probably need to consider using again AI services. And this is a very common theme that I want you to take from all of the AI services. So don't expect the Amazon AI or any AI services to replace completely your employee, the people that you are using, and humans. They can augment. Don't think about automation, think about augmentation. That is the same people, or if you need to have scale or the long tail, these are the places where the Amazon AI can actually make the big difference, allow you to scale, allow you to do things much faster in a much lower cost. But still, sometimes the example that we saw, this kind of a AAA games or very high quality that you need in some cases, you will utilize human for that. So again, why professional voice is not so easy is that you need to hire the guys, you need to get a studio, schedule them to come and record that, and then you should always QA that, because maybe they didn't understand correctly where they should emphasize and so on, and you should go and record it. And as I mentioned, those last steps, you need to do it again every time there is a change in the text or then the policies or the services that you are trying to speak out. And while at the same time, if you're using a Poly for this, you can very quickly do a proof of concept. As you see, you can just put a text and immediately get a result. You can iterate, change the text as needed. It's very scalable. As you saw the example of a book, you can take a book, cut it into thousands of small pieces and do it in parallel. You don't need to just stand and record and read line by line. The cost is dramatically lower. And then again, you saw that the pronunciation and the control, like the whispers and the pitch and the speed, can actually make it very natural-like. Let's quickly touch the pricing so you can understand what you mean by very, very low cost. That is, you will pay for every 1 million characters. Again, these characters are the characters that you actually read. Ignore the SSML. We don't count them for the pricing. And those 1 million characters will cost you $4. On top of that, 5 million characters every month are free for the first year. Don't forget that it's very important that you can already cache, again, download the MP3 file and play them locally. Play them from S3, play them from embedding in mobile devices. You don't need to read the book again and again and again, or the news article again and again and again. You can play them locally. Convert them once and play them many, many times. So just kind of a quick example calculation. If you are a news site, you have 1,000 news articles in a month. Each article is about 6.5 thousand characters. So overall, it's 6.5 million characters in a month. The first 5 million are completely free. So the cost for this 1.5 million characters will be $6. So even if you have a very big website, and we did this calculation with a couple of those, with a few of those news sites, the cost will be $6, $10, $20. This is really not something that you will feel in your pocket. Again, so this was a quick run over Poly, the main use cases, the main variation you can do with the service. I want to leave you while we are talking over those questions with these sources. So please contact us every time you have something regarding the service, regarding the webinar, regarding the content you get from Amazon, from AWS, from Amazon AI. Please use contact us. Use these emails to find us. As I mentioned, go to the AI blog and read about the new things that we are doing all the time, best practices, customer stories. It can really help you come up with new ideas to use the service system. So the last 5 or so minutes, we can go over some questions.